Welcome. This is Sentence to Thrive 25 to Lifestyle, a documentary mini-series for melanated men to be able to express how they see themselves as a success versus how society has branded us. Today, we have Prentice Banks in the building again.
Hey.
And today's topic of discussion is build over debate, emotional intoxication, and immaturity. Welcome, bro.
Welcome, man. Thank you for inviting me again. Loving it. Oh my goodness.
So,
Yes,
we were having
man.
some conversations offline, and just wanted to continue it. It was informal, just really we were talking about just the state of being in our society when it comes to emotional intelligence. And in our community, a lot of us growing up in situations where we're not really being talked to, we're being talked at. And, when people are yelling at you, you adapt or adopt that communication style. And through my observation now, these individuals have grown up, and as adults, it's really hard to communicate or get a message through to them unless you're yelling or screaming at them. And it's unfortunate.
Oh, for sure. It's we always got to go to the root of everything of why it happens the way it happens. You know what I mean? And like we was talking off stage, the first line of communication, or so I say conversing with our parents is that practice of yelling. You know what I mean? And from that, once it becomes repetitive. Now it's like when we interact with our siblings, we yell at our siblings. And then we go outside as we get older, we step outside the home, we're yelling at our mates or we're yelling at our friends. So it's a ripple effect, and somehow, some way they became, like you said, the adoption of the way we're supposed to converse with one another. In reality, it's not. Because once you start yelling, the brain shuts off.
Mm-hmm. And also, I was just gonna say, also like, the voice projects vibrations, and when you're yelling, somebody else is feeling that, like on a nervous system level.
Mm-hmm.
Like it affects their nervous system. So even their ability to engage properly is going to be altered.
It actually might put them in, depends on the receiver. It can put them in the flight or flight theory.
Yep.
Which they may retreat from the conversation, or they may repeat what it is that you're offering of attack. So now we're in our egos. Because now my ego is not allowing you to make me feel like I'm being disrespected because I'm attacking you back. You know what I mean? Then the pride and everything else kicks in. And it can get so intensive that the emotions kick in.
And that's where, to me, this emotional intoxication is there are people who are addicted to that, and they, you've seen like the overly brolic person just walking around looking for trouble. They literally just looking to just start some shit with anybody because they're intoxicated with that emotional chaos, that energy that comes with that emotional chaos of being untethered. And they need in order to function or to feel normal, they need that reciprocal energy. So they need it from somebody else. They need somebody else to be on that same level with them, to feel like they're actually having a conversation.
Yeah, that's a very interesting, view of it, because it's actually how it is. You know, we only what should I say? Our When we converse with other men, it's in heightened to a different level,
Hmm.
because, like I said, the ego and pride is there, and any forms of vulnerability can never be displayed in that heightened mode, because any form of that vulnerability will make now that person feel like his emotions has been expressed, and any given moment his reaction has to stay on point to respond to something that may not exist.
Yep.
And if it does exist, now you're fighting.
Yep. Yep. It's very it's very rare. Once energy levels are heightened, that they go back down to a lull during the conversation. They usually stay at a certain level and just keep escalating, keep escalating, keep escalating, because now it becomes a competition, or
Definitely.
or- and outside of the competition is really combat before the combat.
Yeah.
I'm loud, then you get louder, then I got to get louder than you, then you got to get louder than me. So it's there's an exchange of blows that is happening. It's just verbal and energetically, and then it gets to a point to where now it's then manifested into things physical in nature, because it don't have no other choice.
Would you agree that the first contact of someone initiating the yelling allows the other to shut down, which the only response in that shutdown is based on a memory of the household, right? To now either put us in the flight or flight theory,
Mhm.
and based on you're not family, I'm going to react in an even more aggressive way. But if you are
Yeah,
family, then I have a boundary that I can only go to the far extent, because I know disciplinary comes after the action.
no, that's facts. Like the thing that came to my mind when you were saying that is, to me, I consider anyone that is at least 5 years older than me my elder. And the reason why I think that way is because I look at it like, if I was in eighth grade and you were in 12th grade, I would be crazy not to listen to any insight or wisdom that you were trying to share with me. Right? Like, I have no idea. Like, you're in a whole nother plane of understanding than I am. And 5 years is a lot of time to gain information. So, like, what you're describing to me is, people always, and this is just like basic psychology, really, people reverting back to that childlike state as a frame of reference on how to react. Like, that's your programmed. You're gonna, you're gonna, you're gonna ask your program what's the appropriate response, and it's going to come from childlike experience or childhood experiences in most cases. So yeah, you're absolutely right that when people um, encounter certain types of interactions, like, they revert back to their memories to fit, like, to see how it's relatable. And when it's within your family dynamic, you revert back to your relationship with that person from when you were a child. So yeah, I might not punch my cousin in the face because, you know, I remember all the other stuff that he did for me that was positive, so I'm gonna let this slide. Whereas somebody on the street, I don't have no reason to show you that type of or give you that type of rope. I don't know you. You've crossed my boundary, and now my cousin, the same one, and also then taught me that when somebody crosses your boundary, you punch them in the face. So you know, all these things go back to our programming and our upbringing, and this is where our broken family dynamic really plays a part because we don't have the proper role models to emulate to know how to react properly in certain situations.
Right. And I was sitting here while you were saying that, and I was thinking, I believe our first contact with yelling is with ourselves, because soon as we fail at something, we immediately get to yell at ourselves like, "Dang, I should have did that," or "Dang, I should have known better." Than you know what I mean? And I think the people that may come in contact like, "What's wrong?" or "What's wrong with you today?" or of extending that concern, be the recipient of that outburst.
Ooh, boy. Man, so I'm about to, whoo. All right. So, man, whoo. All right. All right. So I'm going to say something, and this is going to be, it's going to be touchy. Now,
Okay.
what you just said is factual, but it's not factual for everyone. Not all cultures and households lead with scrutiny.
No, I agree.
So some people's default when they make a mistake is not to come down on themselves. So just think about who those people might be and what type of behavior patterns that might be exhibited from that. If you didn't grow up in a household to where you're checking yourself or you're holding yourself accountable, everything is just, well, you'll get it next time, Timmy. Like, you could develop some superior qualities.
Right. But even Timmy gonna flash out at some point.
The reality gonna catch up. Like, I'm just, that's what I'm saying. It's like, it's definitely balances, but there's extremes on both sides. So where in our community, we lead with scrutiny and, telling one about oneself. There's other cultures where the exact opposite is true.
Right.
And this is, why you see certain type of behaviors where you're like, damn, like them motherfuckers just don't care about nothing. Like,
and that's the craziest thing. Like, our culture, we're so quick to engage in verbal debates or verbal aggression and blocking the fear in that moment, right? But knowing that the fear exists, when you finally come to that peak of after you calm down in the aggression of that verbiage and you starting to see the fear that's you're facing, it's like in that moment, he thought about this thing. Why did I say that?
yeah, it's like, oh damn. I have not assessed the situation properly.
And when we think about it, like just think about like all our communities is based off of that. That's how we operate in the communities that we have. We operate from
Man,
aggression in its fullest extent until we really open our thoughts and say, man, this man got a pistol.
yeah,
And I just said all these bad words to this man. Or he has something that can hit me with it. And I don't know if I'm going to come out. I don't have nothing in my hand. But I just said everything under the sun to trigger him. And now I'm trying to create a defense in my head to think, okay, if he moved this way, I'm going to move this way. You know what I mean? To see if I can grab that pipe. You know what I
yeah,
mean? Knowing that process is not going to work out the way you're thinking it.
yeah.
Because you never was taught defense.
Not
That's all learned
strong,
behavior.
not strong, only aggressive is a rap lyric from Most Def. But even in that though, it's you know that that emotional intoxication is even on the other side with the person with the gun, right? Because it's I give a story. Like one time I went to Six Flags and the park got like shut down for a couple hours because somebody had a gun in their book bag. And my thought process was, who the hell brings a gun to an amusement park? Like you're coming here to be amused. It's in the title. Like at what part did you say I might need to bring a gun to an amusement park? Like where are you at in your mind?
Fear.
You're planning for negative interactions.
Yeah.
And so it's, it definitely goes both ways. But that's like going back to where I was saying, like, there's people who are looking for problems because of trauma. And, when you aren't used to thinking things through, it doesn't come natural. Like that's a practice.
Right.
And when you're in an environment where everyone has a hairpin trigger, you might not necessarily even know that thinking things through is a thing. Like you've never seen it. This is how everybody acts. Everybody's reactionary. And the quickest reaction wins.
Exactly. Now you're in the Western days.
That part.
Way of thinking. Critical thinking does not exist in them moments. It's conquer or defeat the threat. Then think.
That's survival based living.
Yeah.
This is what the name in this title of this brand is, very intentional, Sentence to Thrive, because we're not put here on this earth to live in a survival state. It's just that through the systems of oppression that we've been born into, we don't know anything else in a lot of cases. So it takes intentional effort to come out of that survival mode and into a state of thriving. And that's work.
Definitely work. So how will we move a whole culture from victim state of mind to striving towards rebirth? So I would have to call it rebirth into being from dysfunctional functional.
That is a great question. That is the social experiment dynamic of this project, because I don't get all the answers, Sway. But it's definitely my intention to do it by showing up and presenting the suggestion that a change is needed, and not that I'm the only one or the first one to do it. It's just we need more of it. So how that is accomplished, in my opinion, is going to be through commerce, because we have to incentivize people to make changes. Unfortunately, you can't just say, "Hey, be a better person," and they're gonna be like, "Okay, yeah, let's do it." Like, no, you got to incentivize them to be a better person, and the way to do that for our culture is to put money in their hand.
Well, I would
But
I would have to say a little different
mhm.
because as we seen from the stimulus, that system didn't work too well for us.
Mm. Nah. I said commerce. I'm talking about business. I ain't talking
Right.
about free money. That's what I'm saying. Like, just there, it
But
has
what
to
I'm
be
saying is
intentional.
right. But what I'm saying is
It, mhm.
if we just say let's say we gave them a business, right?
Mhm.
And they have yet to be properly trained in that business, the odds of that business is going to be decreased.
Yeah, you used the wrong word, bro. You used a bad word. I ain't talking about giving nobody nothing.
Or let's say,
So it's about giving nobody nothing. I mean, this ain't a welfare program I'm talking about.
right.
Like,
Let's say they earned up, what I mean, this little um, food court. Let's just put them in the food court. They earned their way up to this food court. Now, having earned this, what do you think the longevity of them respecting that court?
well, that's where we have to be optimistic and know the people that we're dealing with. And it's like, I asked you a question yesterday. When you play basketball, do you shoot to miss? Like, every time you shoot, you're expecting it to go in, right? So it's
Yeah.
just about putting forth the effort that is intentionally going to yield a positive outcome. And to me, you do that by dealing with positive people. Now, I would say in mass, we're not collectively in a positive state of being, I would say. So, like, this is where these type of conversations to me are important, because it represents a counter to the narrative. And to me, just that existing is, I'm not gonna say it's enough, but it is it's something to factor, because it's undeniable. Like, people can't unhear this conversation once they listen to it. They can't
Right.
be unaffected by what we're saying. It's going to resonate on a different level because it's different energy. So it's just to me, it's about a matter. It's just a matter of time. We're at a tipping point right now, because I can see that people are exhausted from living on a low level and low energy. Like, they're exhausted. They're depleted from debauchery. It's not, because it's not fulfilling. It's draining.
Right.
So people are drained to the point, like, they can't even take no more. Like, they're at their baseline. So now it's like, the pendulum is swinging. It's okay. Well, if I've hit rock bottom, literally the only other place I can go is up. So now the pendulum is swinging, and now people are looking how to, get more in a positive or lifted state of being, and no. And once you start to gather that type of energy, like, that is really addicting, especially if you've never known it.
Right.
So,
I
like,
think
that's what I see happening.
what I think would be a critical. Um, I mean, good social experiment. Um, critical thinking questionnaire. For
You said
different,
questionnaire?
like a survey,
Okay.
right? And present different scenarios under different situations, like you did with the, rich, handsome, intelligent, type. Which one would you pick? You know what I mean? But do it on a critical thinking aspect of it. Because what you will find from different generations will map out exactly where somewhat of the statistics of where we are at mentally in our critical
Uh-oh.
thinking.
Uh-oh. I'm the wrong guy to give a suggestion to, bro. you just you just did a whole lot.
But would you believe that will be something to run down and test the theory out of it?
In my mind, it's already done. Like I just did it, and I'm still doing it right now. Like that's how my mind works, bro. Like it's like now I'm inflicted with the task of reverse engineering everything that I just created in my mind. Because as you said it, but I'm I'm literally like a robot sometimes. As you just said it, it was just like input, compute. Like, oh yeah, that's it right there.
Great job.
Another one. Yeah, no.
I think by the time you finish with me, you're gonna be a revamped person.
Oh yeah, no, absolutely. We all are. Because I'm definitely gonna share everything that I'm learning. So, and mind maps are definitely something that I like to do.
Man, because like me personally, right? A lot of my tests that I do are a lot of the things that I come to the surface with to interact with people with is I ain't already had that fight. Right. I may have a big ass argument that I want to get out, or I may have a subject that I want to get out. I will walk over to that mirror and look in that mirror and have a great debate with myself. And if I don't win against myself, then that debate needs study.
Right.
You know what I mean? And I got to be really open to the possibility that I may beat myself.
Could be wrong.
You know what I mean?
No, yes, I mean, I entertain more thoughts that I don't voice than the ones that I do.
Right. So
I'll check my way of thinking. Like, oh, is this correct? Oh yeah, nah, don't say that crazy shit. That's not right, bro.
Exactly. What was you thinking?
Yeah, nah, don't do that.
Like that.
Yeah, no, that's definitely crazy. Don't do that.
Man, it's crazy. Like, we do a lot of self-inner talk, but we never take that self-inner talk into action due to fear of judgment of it.
Yes, that is common. They call it imposter syndrome now.
Yeah. It's like men. Men would rather go into deflecting before honesty.
Yes, this is true. And that's definitely a feminine trait, in my opinion.
Yes. But to deflect something, right, and then call yourself a leader, how are you leading in your fear to express what it is that you're supposed to be honest about?
Impossible. It's impossible. That's really that's what's dangerous right now. What I see in our community is that we have men who have listened to women in regards to how to craft their communication style, and it's not authentic to anything. It's not authentic to them. It's not authentic to their nature. It's like you said, it's very passive aggressive, and a refuse. The word that I've been using lately to describe it is feigning. Like people are master feigners now.
Oh, that's funny. That's funny. Man.
Master feigners.
You know, I call men that go on these tantrums man emotions, right? So when they get to doing all this crazy stuff, oh man, you're in your man emotions right now. Instead of calling him anything outside of what, the disrespect levels of it, man, you all in your man emotions. And then the first thing he goes like, what do you mean man emotions? Like, bro, you cutting up right now. Like, this is not a masculinity in this moment.
Right.
We don't even know if you're expressing emotion right now. All we know is you just cutting up.
Obnoxious. this
I'm 3 stages for putting a binky on you. You know what I mean? Because you just it's 2 reactions I'm looking for. Is I'm gonna have to put a binky on you, or you gonna fall on the ground, kick your feet. Which one is gonna happen?
Yeah. But and that's this is where I'm most of the thoughts that I want to express, and I'm like, let me figure out another way to do it. Like, this is where I'm just putting them in my designs. And the one design that I have, unapologetically stoic, is like design of irony, because to be stoic is to be unapologetic in some instances, so it's redundant. And the redundancy in the design is to really analyze how in today's age stoicism really isn't possible, because people come out literally to try to trigger you. Like that's some people's whole MO is to try to trigger you, right? So
right.
there is a such thing as righteous anger and an appropriate response. So stoicism can't always be enacted, because sometimes you have to respond. Like sometimes people literally make you have no choice but to respond. But that a reaction should not be the default. So, this is where, as men, we have to find that balance and know, how to react appropriately. Like, does the situation call for calm, or does it call for like something more elevated? And what I find is when we're communicating these type of messages, positivity sometimes falls flat, because people think it's too calm, and it's that whole equating strength with aggression. So I don't have to be aggressive to say something strong, and I don't have to be loud to say something poignant.
Right. So here's a question. If someone was to present $1 million,
mm-hmm.
and you had to go 6 months, I'm gonna say 6 months. I was gonna say a year. You had to go 6 months without being a reactionary person of anger, showing any levels of behavior of such anger. You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
You have to literally be critical thinking. At what times do If I find myself becoming angry, it cannot be openly displayed, which make you critically think that I have to find a different way of solution to it.
Hmm.
So you got 6 months to never get angry, and you get this $1 million. So that's 90 days and 90 days to get a $1 million. How far do
Hmm.
you think you will last to get that $1 million?
Hmm.
Or do you think you make it?
I think I think I think I can make it, bro. I'm not gonna lie. I think I can make it. And the reason why I think I can make it is because I've been practicing. Like
Right.
I'm tested daily. uh, so
We just
like
have to take you off Instagram. You'll make it.
yeah, easy. Like I just as long as I ain't on Instagram, that's easy. Like I like when I'm on Instagram, I'm a whole character. Like I'm literally playing a character. Like I'm in my feminine energy on purpose
Right.
because I understand like what that actually means. Like to me, feminine energy is creativity. So I'm on there in a creative capacity. And, if riled up, then I'm gonna stay in that energy depending on if that's what you're giving me. If I don't like to be cornered into a position to where people think they can expect a certain type of response.
Right.
Like if you want to trigger me on this platform, trust me, I understand there ain't no such thing as bad publicity. Like, we like this it's social media, it's a show, it's not real
Right.
to me. We're here, like I'm myself here. I might get animated here, but if I'm animated here, like I'm definitely being theatrical. It's just it's all about the environment because that's what I was about to say. Like I can easily do it if I'm on an island and I got to deal with people. But that's where things get tricky. Is you know people people are an enigma, and like I said, people like they're individuals who will intentionally try to get you out of character. So, uh, you know, this is one aspect of mental health that I'm wanting to analyze as men, as melanated men, because people do that to us all the time. People do that to us specifically so they can try to attach that angry black man moniker to us.
Right.
And I've worked in corporate for quite a while, in all types of situations professionally, and trust and believe, uh, that's my day to day. People trying to push my buttons to prove I'm really not supposed to be there. So, you know, and this is where I'm not an anomaly. Uh, I know plenty of bros that's working in the professional and corporate arena, and this is what they deal with every day. And it's why their demeanor seems depressed and defeated because they don't got no more energy. They using all their energy at work, deflecting BS. They ain't got no
Right.
more energy for nothing else. And that will is it's just a matter of time before that collapses you as a person. So these are the type of practices and rules of engagement that we have to endure that are different from everyone else, and it creates like this whole notion of having to be unapologetically stoic because at the end of the day, that's the only thing that people are going to accept from us when it comes to a reaction, just a null.
Yeah. It's gonna be we'll say it's gonna be a beautiful journey and building on this because I love the social spirit that you got going on, bro. Because it literally makes me think now. on a different level. You know what I mean? And being in the position that I am, I'm only um, able to deal with one force of your social experiment because the feminine traits is no longer here. You know what I mean?
Right.
It's not in our presence. So um, to engage back and forth with another entity, another man, is it's needed. And I think that's where a lot of our engagement on the streets fail because we don't have that force, respect, and force discipline to engage with any race or even with ourselves because they know there's a consequence behind any disrespectful language.
Mm-hmm.
So when we step out of prison, our language is as if we went to college because of the interactions.
Right.
So yeah,
No, that's facts. That's facts, and I definitely respect that. And this is it's no mistake that I get along well with people who have had prison time, and it's because of that communication and that level of respect of communication. And it is. I think it's important for us as different types of melanated men to converse so that we can share our experiences and perspectives. Because at the end of the day, it's each one teach one, and I am not beyond guidance. Like I said, anyone is 5 years. My senior is to me considered my elder. Like I'm here in the capacity to get guidance as much as I am to give it. And I think that's important to showcase, if you will. Because to me, that needs to be a new norm that needs to be established, us counseling each other.
But I'm gonna tell you where a lot of we're gonna run into some technical areas because if we look at the way the culture exists, the foundation of it, it's generational pass down of trauma. So the person that's supposed to be actually teaching us, if he has never done any inner work,
Mm-hmm.
To heal from that, what he was receiving at the time of his youthfulness to adult age to now have me, that information that I have gotten from him was based on the experience that he went through that he never corrected. So now I embody his experience along with my life experience that I'm living now, and I'm guided by a blueprint that's missing plumbing and electrical issues.
Facts. No, and that is no, that's very spot on. And this is where originally when I started this whole journey,
Mm-hmm.
I had a PhD in psychology, moderating conversations, because I wanted them to be as helpful as possible coming from someone who was knowledgeable. Just like you said, you don't want to receive information from a bad transmitter. Bad transmission, you get bad reception. That's radio technology.
Right.
You transmit garbage, you're going to receive garbage. So, and this is what's really tricky within our community, because the leaders that we have are, to me, the ones who have been presented, and they've been presented because they have a bunch of ill traits. And these people are been selected to specifically pass these negative traits on to people.
Right.
And this is where, I really want to, just analyze the notion that as men, and specifically melanated men, like who made this decree that at the moment we're not perfect, we have to be destroyed, or we're throwaways.
Well,
It's like
system.
It's like, it's the it's a very crazy existence for people to look at you as a devalued person or less than, but at the same time hold you to a level of scrutiny of excellence that no one else on the planet is being governed by or held to. And that's where, as an individual, you have to know the difference of who you are in yourself. And my mantra is indifferent to indifference. My assessment is really the only thing that matters. My assessment of myself, good, bad, or indifferent, like, it's gonna come from somebody else. So I have to be sound in my knowledge of self to be able to receive that external information, however it comes. And a lot of times, especially when it's good, because then it could feed too much into my ego, and to where now it creates an imbalance if it's not all the way true.
Right.
So, we're gonna have, and you definitely use myself as an example for sure. I am not perfect by any stretch of the imagination. Does that mean that you throw the baby out with the bathwater? That if I say something that has value or that can be of value, that you discredit it because I got idiosyncrasies and faults in my personality?
No, I think the person that's receiving the information, if he's devalued, he will never take in the information as being valuable. That's where we come into the response. So most people will say, "Oh man, get out of here with all that stuff, man. Don't be come over here preaching to me. Don't be, being all like you highly intelligent type stuff." You know what I mean? It's because they, one, may not comprehend what it is that you're speaking, or it might be a trigger to whatever it may be the topic is that triggered that person to now respond in the way he responded. But finding that ultimate inner value, you would not have to worry about too much, because you set the boundaries and you set the guidelines upon any interactions of that value.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I mean? That's like you walk up to a person and you don't even know them and they call you out your name.
Right.
You see what I'm saying? Because when you initiated the contact, they read something about you to initiate that first response. It was either a lack of confidence, or the way you walked up with your shoulders all hunched down or hunched, your whole posture was off.
Right.
So the first thing they're gonna see is like, okay, we got one,
Right.
and it's gonna be we're gonna test that theory out. If the theory doesn't show that he is a weak-minded or he can be manipulated or pushed into something that he don't want to be in, now I have to treat him in a different light of value.
Right.
So yeah, it's
and it's woo man. All right, so what you just described, I'm a very visual person, and my mind paints pictures. And when you were talking, I seen two scenarios. I seen the scenario from the environment from which you're in, and then I seen the scenario from my own vantage point of walking down the street. And there's similarities and also, obviously different rules of engagement. But I think the caveat is when it comes to our culture, sometimes those rules of engagement aren't different, regardless of the environment that you're in. And that's a problem. And specifically what I've seen and what I've witnessed and what I've observed and what I really want to analyze and dive in on is when bros come home and they've experienced how to perceive people differently and how to communicate with people differently. I can relate to it as a military veteran. Like, it's not easy to assimilate. It's not easy to reintegrate back into society on that level because your level of awareness of things is not the same anymore as everyone else's. Like you're analyzing people differently and for different reasons. And what I found, I've had some experiences with some bros who are incarcerated, and I can see how do I even want to say it? That level of discipline is unrelenting. Like it never dissipates. And not only does it not dissipate, now it's checking for you.
Yeah.
And I'm not, and to me it's needed. It's needed, absolutely it's needed. It's just also coming from a military background, I can also see some parts that's missing in the discipline, if that makes sense.
Right.
Because it's really just all about the purpose. Like there's hierarchies where you are, right? And there's hierarchies in the military. It's just that the purpose of those hierarchies are different. And, that's really where I'm wanting to dive into these conversations. And, even on IG, the thing that I'm often talking about is we're deficient in our ability to understand the importance of group dynamics.
Right.
Like you have individuals in a group Like they're not all supposed to be the same. But the objective of the group is supposed to be the same.
Yeah. You know, prison is forced. Society is learning. You know what I mean? And the sad part about prison is that, like, when I came in, we had to literally take 2 hours out of a day. Like, they shut down the whole section. You know, it's like you got A section, B section, C section. If you're in A section and it's a 2 hour shutdown, you got to read something or do a book report on something that you read. You know, and that engagement was truly a blessing because it enhances your knowledge, and then it makes you want to you become more valuable because you know more. You know what I mean? You have experienced it, so now you know it, and you have the proper language to put what it is that you're trying to say, versus, you know what I mean, trying to figure out the right wording to put in the right sentence. You know it already. So it's, you know, I like to dive into, like, one day with you on redefining manhood. You know what I
mean? Yeah.
Finding,
it's definitely needed.
Yeah. Finding the boy and redefining the man. Because, you know, we, like I said, that physical presence, it shows all manhood.
Right.
But psychologically, we all have that childlike qualities.
Yeah.
Which is truly a misrepresentation to any counterpart that we're trying to bring into our life.
Yeah. It's man, it's sticky out here, bro. It is really sticky out here. And, you know, it's when you say redefine manhood, you know, where do you start? Because
inner work.
Okay. Yes. All right. Now, here's the caveat to the situation. Environment matters. And globally, there are systems in place that, like, literally are designed to emasculate men. And from my observation, and my perspective, more times than not, the way to overcome those systems is with force. Now, that's not always physical force, obviously. It could be intellectual and emotional force, circumventing some of these systems. So when you're defining and redefining on what it means to be a man, we have to understand really in what system are we defining this man in?
Well, I mean, we placed in a role by the world as your job is to be a provider, protector. These are the rules of engagement that is given to us as being supposed to be the superior being in the household and in the community.
Uh-oh.
Right. Right? We are the leaders of the communities. We are the leaders of our homes. We are responsible for these elements. We are all these things that the world talks about that a man represents. Does he qualify for that position?
Yo, no, look, I, I, man, I 1,000% agree and hear where you're coming from. It's just that, like, right now, there are no households. There is no community. So this is what I'm saying. Like, the system has worked. The system was designed to dismantle, and like that's really where we are right now. We are dismantled.
Okay. Now I'm going to use.
So, to be able to redefine the man, we have to repair them first. Some of them. Because everything's been dismantled.
Okay. So once we say we get 5 men, and this is the topic of what we're talking about, redefining or the de-education to re-educate self, right? Once you acknowledge something that has happened in your life, it calls for change. And this is what a lot of men have not did the inner work, because if you just go one step backwards in your life, how many things do you see in that one step that needs correction? And if none in that first step it needed correction, you step back one more and really analyze yourself. If nothing in that area, step back one more. Because at some points, when the closer you get back down from 20 years old to 19 to 18, that 17-year-old mark, you're going to start experiencing something. You know what I mean? And being that we're an adult, given a title that we are not qualified for, we definitely taking that first step and we're going to run into a roadblock. Because the first question is to that person, what makes you qualify for this position of leadership? What qualifies you for the position of a father? What qualifies you for the position of this job as a man? What qualifies you position to represent yourself?
Absolutely.
You know what I mean? And to put a person in contact with those scenarios and questions, now it's the self-evaluation aspect of him now looking at himself like, ooh, that was a good question. You know what I mean? Well, I believe
Absolutely. So I guess, all right, I guess let me contextualize it like this. Like, I see it from two different perspectives, right? And you correct me if I'm wrong. Like, the perspective that you're speaking from is from a here and now man, as a flawed being and needing to make change. Whereas my focus when we're talking about redefining manhood is more for an 11-year-old. What do we tell the 11-year-old so he don't have to worry about none of that? Or none of this. You don't have to ever worry about being dismantled because we're giving him the tools to be built up the right way in the first place.
Yeah, well, you're going to be installing value early on in critical thinking, coping skills. All these things are essential to his growth. You know what I mean?
Okay, so this is my thing. This is my thing. Like our methodology, from my observation, our methodology of how we teach our youth is to openly scrutinize ourselves. And to me, it's not the most optimal method of teaching. I would rather show you the right way to do something versus me showing you my fuck ups and telling you not to do that.
Right. Because if you show me your fuck ups and you're telling me not to do it, it's like telling me do as I say and not as I do. And I'm seeing you repeat the same thing you're telling me not to do. So the respect level goes.
That part. And this is where I'm saying as melanated men, like, you know, we are held to a level of scrutiny that is beyond comprehension. As at the moment we have a misstep, there's someone there to persecute us to the fullest extent of their capacity. So you say we have to get out of this mindset of needing to validate everybody. You know, is energy speaks for itself. Like, is this person talking and they full of shit? Like, yes or no? I don't really need all the backstory or an investigation to know all of that.
Right.
And even if they fool me once, like, they're not going to be able to continually do that. So, and this is where, you know, specifically, you know, we were talking yesterday, like on the business side, when you're looking forward, you really don't have to worry about none of these things if you do it in a, like, you know, an orderly fashion, like with paperwork. And specifically when we're talking about group dynamics, knowing what everyone in the group is there for and what their role is for outside of their ego. Like, you know, okay, you got into a brawl when you was 21 and, you know, a waitress got her tooth knocked out. All right. Can you create this wireframe right now? I forgive you. You know, like, shit happens. Like, that's to me, like, that's the energy that we have to be moving with right now, because none of us are infallible, and that is by design. We are all been dragged through the mud. The analogy that I've been given is, you know, it's like me being on camera right now, right? I'm a camera. And the entire time, the entire time I'm talking, I got this dirt spot right here on my shirt. The entire time I'm talking, and no matter what I say, after I get finished talking, the only thing that you can focus on, the only thing you're going to talk about is this dirt spot on my shirt. Meanwhile, everything that I was telling you the story about how this dirt spot got here and how there's more motherfuckers coming to put dirt spots on all of us. Like, that's what's going on here, bro.
So basically, we don't have enough face wipes and baby wipes to keep our hands clean from the person that's coming in contact with.
Right. It's at the moment when we say American dreams for me, they got you, bitch. You in a matrix, and you gonna be tap dancing until you not. And from my observation and my vantage point, like that's what we're really dealing with is specifically when we're talking about redefining manhood when it comes to us, it has to be expanded outside of the traditional lines of provider of a household, community leader. Because now some of those people do fit that narrative, but you know what their 9 to 5 is doing? Upholding the system. Just
Right.
keeping everybody in this fucked up state. So are you really an asset as a man? And if so, to whom? Because it's not to yourself. It's not to your reflection.
Yeah, because we first got to find out what is his definition of manhood or man. Because his interpretation of man or manhood may not be what everybody else in the world sees it as. You know what I mean?
The world, Craig.
Because like I said, we got this qualified given title. The world says you are who you are on the external side of you. So if the external side of me is guiding my internal being, then I'm going to be misled for a long time. But if my internal things guide my external things, then why is my internal things are not demanding what my external things should be operating and how it should be operating?
I have an answer for that.
Because I'm in full control.
Yeah, it's either you're out of control or you're experiencing witchcraft. Like that's the only reason why you're not. That's the only reason why if your internal state doesn't match your external state, it's one of 3 things. It's either you're completely out of control, you're a victim of witchcraft, or you're on your way to the thing. Like you're in the process of matching it up.
Yeah. My thing is this, and understanding your external things in life, right? Do you honestly believe that you have a decision in that interaction?
Say that one more time.
I said, and understanding the external things that you have in life, right?
Mm-hmm.
As a man, these external things is what makes you have learned behavior, right? The experience of learned behavior. So, does that give you an opportunity to decide correctly?
Ooh. No. The answer is no.
Correct. Because in that moment, your decision is based off of other people's opinions, other people's experiences, other people's imagery. Everything is based off somebody else's design for you.
Right. It's impossible.
Right? It's impossible. So everything that we're seeing today in men, even in women, are external behaviors. Nobody has done any inner work to control the external thought process of what they see and doing.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I mean? And it goes back to that test. Remember the test I did with that young gentleman who was talking to that one day. Mm-hmm. You know, the 3 factors of balancing himself, bringing your 14 or 15-year-old you trauma you back to you safely, and then the inner work of understanding accountability of your darkness.
Hmm. Accountability of your darkness.
Yes.
That's a deep one.
How long can you stand in it with your eyes closed?
I think about that often. That's yeah. When I'm reflecting, those are the things I'm reflecting on. Being accountable for my darkness.
Have you honestly healed in anything in that darkness? Because if you
Have
haven't,
I have I healed?
yeah, have you healed from anything in that darkness?
Absolutely. I mean, and it's situational, obviously, though. There's some things that I've analyzed that uh because like it's just like you were saying, right? When we're talking about external
Mm-hmm.
and you know, and in some cases that darkness could be subjective. Like we carry trauma sometimes that we shouldn't.
Right,
So sometimes that darkness looks like damage that I've caused, but also sometimes that darkness looks like damage that I received.
right,
So there's been times where I've been able to analyze damage I received and know that it wasn't just, and it allowed me to let it go.
right.
Now, when it comes to the damage I've caused, that's a little bit more difficult to reconcile with because there's other people involved. And that's just relationship based and interaction based, and that's depending on who you are as a person, who that person is, you know is going to make the difference on whether or not you're going to rectify that.
Yeah, I agree.
And
It's
what you're talking about, I was just thinking about living for the city.
have you? I'm gonna ask you. Have you ever read this book? It's a series of books, right? But it's three Pacific books I have read by this young gentleman. His name is U.S. Stanley Anderson, but it's Euro Stanley Anderson. And one of the books that I recommend people start off is called The Three Magic Words, right? And this book deals with the conscious and the subconscious mind.
Hmm.
Bro, I'm telling you, this book is so amazing because make you go deep. It makes you go deep.
You said the three magic words is what it's called.
Yep. It's by U.S. Stanley Anderson. But his whole name is Uall Stanley Anderson.
I'll write it in my notes.
And I can send you a picture of the book
All
if you
right.
want to.
Yeah. And I can use a good book right now.
I promise you. See, I got the three magic words, the magic in your mind, the secret of secrets right now. All of them is they enhance the next level of understanding.
Mm. You the last book that I read,
What book is that?
the Book of Enoch.
I just had that book. Matter of fact, somebody in the yard got my book. He moved out my building. I gotta go get my book. I got that whole book.
Yeah, I read it twice. I just like the last time I read it, Yeah, I haven't read anything else. I've been kind of stuck.
Brain like,
Yeah, it's like I'm just gonna think about this for a minute.
hey, but you know it's crazy though. Um, all my life, like my grandfather was a Baptist preacher,
Mhm.
and I'm sitting there like, okay, my grandfather, I still got his King James Bible to this day in my cell, right,
Mm.
with his signature on it and everything. And so one day I was sitting back and I was studying, and then appeared another King James Bible. This King James Bible was a demonic King James Bible. And I'm like, wait a minute. How is it there's two different King James Bible? One created in faith and the other one created in demonic. So what am I actually learning? And who is what where did this other teaching come from? And why is it not being brought to the attention of the church that there's a second Bible of King James?
Yeah, like what? I ain't even. That's the first time I like what? What? Huh?
Hey, hey, bro. Bullshit.
um,
I will send you the book. I will send you the link to show you the book. It
I believe you.
exists,
I believe
and
you.
it is crazy that there are so of King James documented two different books, right? Why is this practice not shown to the church? Why does one take
My,
precedence over the other?
I got other questions. I got other questions. I got other, I got other questions. Yeah, and question number one would be, um, who's been reading this book? Like, um, what's the differences? Like, man, like that's what
Hey,
I want. What's the difference? Like,
and the crazy part about it, I just came across the visualization of this book, right? And I'm almost tempted to order it, but I'm kind of scared of the information I may learn about it.
bruh, information is a scary thing. Information, you should be scared of information to an extent, but only to the extent of being fearful of yourself.
Right.
Um, but, whew, man, ay, ay, ay. All right. So, um,
Yeah, kind of mess your head up with that one.
yes and no. I mean, like, yes, from the perspective of like, I never knew that,
Oh yeah.
but no, from the perspective of is like it's shocking but not surprising because I don't know everything, right? So, I'm not, you learn something new every day. So it's like, but also I I am aware of other types of books that exist, and I also understand that just the whole premise of religion is to create a level of fear that causes one to not seek information, just
Right.
to trust information. Um, and just in the context of the conversation with me mentioning that the last book I read was the book of Enoch, which isn't in the Bible at all, right? No
Hmm.
longer. Um, of course, there's information missing all over the place. And because religion is such a fear monger based entity, even the word demon, people are afraid of. I'm a wild dude, Prentice, bro. I'm a wild dude. I ain't gonna lie, man. And uh, I like to brand myself as a righteous troll. So I would say about 10 years ago, but maybe 8 years ago, I started putting on the internet, on Facebook, just a blank post, like a blank black background, white letters with the question, are demons real? Because I found it very intriguing how many people go to church, how many people give like money, tithe to church, and just all bought into the whole institute of church and Christianity or whatever religion, right? But it's like, do you really believe what you're reading? Like, because there's some wild stuff in these books. So it's like, it's modern society has created this environment to where people are so comfortable that you ask them, are demons real? They're going to look at you like you are crazy. But they're going to church every Sunday.
Right.
This is the affliction I have. This is how I see the world, bro. Just the irony of it all, just the confliction of it all. So, King James demonic version. I I'm not gonna say I am scared of it. I would also say that I don't think it is for me to read. I don't think I need to read it.
Right.
I could be wrong,
But
but I don't think I.
it's good for awareness though. I just sent you a cover of it, right?
Mhm.
That to show you that this
It
exists,
exists. Yes,
right?
it is important to know that it exists.
Because how do we define it's called demonically. I put it in your DM right now too. It's called demonically by King James, the Forgotten Book, Part 1.
Bruh. No, I mean, it's just it. So I'm gonna ask you this question: Is that it? Is that considered one of the books of the Apocrypha, or no?
Yeah,
Or is this just this? So this book is considered one of the books of the Apocrypha.
yeah.
Okay.
These are one of his original books. And the crazy
Okay.
part of it is now what puts me in the state of mind of how did we ever define, how did they come to the understanding of that there is a demonic side to us if they didn't create it?
Nice. Well, that's where I mean, since we already having this conversation, I already know that you've read like books of Solomon, right?
Yeah.
So yeah, so it's the more you know.
Yeah. This is why I'm gonna tell you this, right? My grandfather, you know, he was an all-knowing person, right?
Mhm.
But he used to always teach me because he was a Baptist pastor. He used to always tell me, "Do not get caught up in religious dogma.
Right.
Leave your mind open for all religions because you never know which religion is going to fit that time frame or that issue that you may come in that may need that spiritual uh greater understanding of moral principles. You
Hmm.
know, if it's yoga, Buddhism, or you know,
That part. Man, I'm so glad you said yoga first.
ain't nothing like spiritual meditation. You know.
All right. So just to clarify, anybody listening, I am not an advocate for anything demonic. In case anyone wants to try to assign that because we said the word demon, like get out of here with that madness.
Yeah, we
So
not. We not.
what I will say is that the word demon is like a title, just like the word angel is a title.
For sure. For sure.
And you can do with the rest of it as you will.
It's like many of us walk on this earth as earth angels.
Hmm.
Earth angel is a person that is not unselfish, and their job on the earth is to bring the spiritual realm to heal any and everything they come in contact with.
Interesting.
You know, and a lot of I utilize that a lot for women when I call them. I don't really call too many women queens and all that. I call them earth angels
Hmm.
because, and I send them the definition of it.
Hmm.
And when they realize what it means, they be like, they're nurturers.
Ain't that a song? Earth Angel.
Yep,
Yeah.
it's an old school song.
Hmm.
Yeah, you know what I mean. But and if you notice, I want to show you something too that it was crazy on Instagram. It happened like it was just a swift 1 month period that
Hmm.
a lot of people on Instagram became so. I think it's before the moons align with all the Earths align and supposed to have been the eclipse.
Hmm.
During that stage, there was a lot of conscious conversations by a lot of people that you was unexpected to ever talk about consciousness and alignment, um, portal jumping, all these different other elements like through Instagram,
Hmm.
right? After that happened, now we have a lot of conscious people. We have a lot of tarot readers. We have a lot of uh, people that have taken a position to now call themselves spiritual enlighteners.
Mediums.
Yeah, mediums. But then that in itself could be misleading because who qualified you to be this medium? You know what I mean? And who's
I
to
love
say that
words. I love
you?
words, Prentice.
But we as people take what they say to us at face value.
Mm.
You are a medium, a tarot card reader. Let's say a tarot card reader. You are the
Hmm.
medium of between me and whoever it is on the other side of them cards is supposed to talk to me.
Hmm.
And you're gonna tell me by flashing these cards that this person is actually gonna talk to me. Okay, now if I'm to believe that, then I would have to take your experience and embody it. And then you're gonna mentally and psychologically guide me to give you the answers of what it is I need to know.
Uh-oh. Danger.
But we want to believe in something so bad is just they're gonna say something that is triggering to you, which is gonna make you
Mm.
emotional, like, oh my God, you didn't. You know what I mean? Come on, man.
Mm.
You already had that answer. and quotient already embodied in you. You just needed to go back into you and find it. You didn't need no person, medium, to tell you that your grandma said she loved you. It's already been there. She told you that before she left.
I'm about to put you on the spot. So I'm gonna contextualize everything you just said,
Okay.
and one phrase, and I just want you to tell me, do you agree with it, or yes, or no, or
Okay.
not? Mediums, synonymous with lukewarm.
Okay. Medium was lukewarm. Now, I need a little clarification in this lukewarm
No, you
perspective.
don't. No, you don't. Didn't you say you would order? Didn't you say you would ordain minister?
Yeah, but man,
Stop
it's a
playing with me,
lot.
bro. Stop
It's
playing with
a
me, bro. Stop
no,
playing with me,
no.
bro.
See, in this realm, here's a lot of clarifications that need to be made. Yeah, right over there. Is that?
Yeah, you made me drop my mic, bro.
Oh my god, this started to be funny as hell. I'm almost at the. I'm almost in the point of want to disagree with this situation.
You want to disagree? Hey, let me hear it.
Yeah,
I'm all ears. I'm just a talking head on the internet, man.
but then I'm looking at the lukewarm versus the medium because something has to be cold and hot to
Uh
have
oh.
to have an entrance to it
Mm,
or even an exit.
mm,
You know what I mean? So
mm.
uh then again, now I'm kind of leaning back towards it might be yes because everything has a negative and a positive to it. So yeah, I'm gonna have to agree with yes. A medium
Mm.
has to have to be a medium. It has to have the warmness and the coldness to even exist.
Okay, so what do
So
you think? What do you think I meant?
I think you where I'm at right now. Now that I thought about it, because you see how I went quickly. I had to read now going to mathematics with it because without A and B can't have no C. You know what I mean? The number system is not adding up to be a medium.
Hmm.
So yeah. Okay. That was a good shot.
I'm just using words.
Yeah, I understand your words very clearly.
I'm just
That's
using
why
words. People are easily offended. So
this is
I
why I brought the word of clarity into the situation.
I don't want nobody to put no hex on me or nothing.
you know, it's hey, bro. You know, we as a melanated people, bro, we have so much information, right, within us, and we have so much clarity within us. We question everything that don't make sense to the natural ear, but we activate to the things that we see.
I have my high school basketball coach, Coach Hurd, used to say, "Believe half of what you see and none of what you hear." That's what he used to tell us all the time.
Right. But you believe in more than you see than less than you hear. Because if I tell you to pass the ball and you running down the court, you don't hear me pass the ball, you go finish the pass. Are you truly like is you truly tuned in to every interaction at that moment of playing basketball?
If I say pass the ball and you don't listen.
Or if I throw that ball where you see it. I think the odds of you seeing that ball coming before I say pass the ball, or the ball's coming, you know what I mean?
Well, I mean, I think that is important in regards to just relating it back to mediums and your analogy of people reading tarot cards and giving you their interpretation, and you really having to accept their reality to be able to see what they're seeing. Because perception is reality. That's a cliche, right?
Right.
So I love cliches. Perception is reality. Vantage points, however, are not reality. People can share perspectives but have completely different vantage points. And vantage points shift. They move. Perspectives just change. It's a difference. So
right.
when we're talking about information, and specifically when we're in this conversation, started with the Book of Enoch. Excuse me. It's important for an individual to seek out information on their own and to read these things on their own and to glean the interpretation as they were intended to receive it. Because we're all here with our own assignments and purposes. So all the information is not for everyone. That's why it's so many different types of books. There's books in libraries that exist that people don't even know it exists. There's books in libraries that have existed that have burned because they didn't want you to know that they existed. So when you look at things in that lens and understand that, we are here right now in this time period, it's like such a minuscule portion of time as it relates to existence. What we know is very limited. I don't care who you're talking about. I don't care who you're talking to. Just mathematically, what we know is very limited. That's why they still got people who discover things and they pay them to discover things, because we still don't know shit yet. So everything is left open to interpretation, but it's really, going even back further in the conversation. It's really just about a respect level. And that's, to me, what defining manhood is your thirst and overindulgence of knowledge of self. Like that shows up. That shows up in a way that is louder than words. When you understand yourself and you have understood yourself from a perspective of seeking information outside of yourself, it translates differently in communication that is like on a nonverbal level. Like it's hierarchical. And when engaged in communication, if you are mindful enough to match your words with that presence and experience, this is to me what separates and differentiates different types of men. Effective communication.
Right. Okay.
Full stop. Hold on. I ain't playing with no toys today. I got one. I was late with it, but
Right.
we still hit it. Full stop.
All right. Hey, King, I need to get me a little bit of rest. Because it's 2 something in the morning. Definitely we're gonna have to have more topics like this on your live. I love it.
Hey man, anytime you're available, bro, I really appreciate you showing up and lending your wisdom in the conversation and your counsel. Like I said, I need guidance as well too. So the fact that it's captured, everybody can eat.
Okay. Man, I'm sure whoever was listening tonight, they had a ball because they like these two people appear kind of cuckoo and then they're very knowledgeable.
Right. Like, what should we do?
Like, which corner is they gonna turn next?
I don't know if I should report them or send them a cash app.
Cash app, please.
Yeah, it's streaming right now, right on the bottom of the ticker. If you're interested.
All Cash App supports it supports the page. It supports the YouTube channel. It's really needed right now. All support. We appreciate your kindness, if you so do.
That is a hundo.
Man. But definitely we're gonna align ourselves more on this topics. And like I said, we're gonna sit down and we're gonna just put some questions together and just go in. You know what I mean? And, let me know when you're inviting somebody, whatever, I'll pop up.
Now the other young lady, she was supposed to come on tonight. She might have fell asleep. But the wife's school podcast, I think she's setting up to interview me. So that's the other thing. With the social experiment, when I was figuring out, the ins and outs of what it was going to be, I wanted to make it as easy as possible. And so the thing that I decided was that I would create content under the hashtag me first. And the first episode of the documentary would be me, and it would be a series of different people interviewing me.
Oh, okay.
Just asking me. I mean, and the interview is just this, just asking questions and just having conversations, like nothing formal, like, I piece it together as we will.
Okay. That sounds very, but we definitely gonna have to take a moment too to talk about the remember the documentary from internal of where I'm at. You know what I mean?
Yes.
By coming in, man, bro, that's and I'm gonna explain to you more about it, when we get a chance, when we're not so on live, right? Because there was there was something done already in this state, but I think it would be better if we recreate it.
Copy that.
Because when it was done, when it dropped, I can see you. I'm gonna send you the link to it too, so you can see it. It got 1.5 million followers. I mean, likes and comments. That's how far it went when we did it. So, done it in a different version and different questioning. It taps into our culture.
Yes. Speaking of which, if you've made it this far, you're not liking, commenting, and subscribing, you're a stalker, and go get some help. I said that with a straight face.
Oh my goodness.
But not, man. I appreciate your time, man. To get some rest.
All right, bro.
I'm gonna go. I think I'm gonna go agitate some people on Instagram real quick.
If I can't go to sleep, I'll find you on there.
Yeah, I think I'll see what's up.
All righty.
All right, bro. I'm gonna talk to you next time, man.
All right. In a minute, big dog.
Sayonara.